Tapas Patel, CEO, Om Shri Builders and Developers, to please come onto the stage and take your seat. Thank you, sir, for joining us here. I would now like to invite Mr. Noor Mohammad Jilani, Managing Director, Hybiz Developers, to please come onto the stage and take your seat. And now I would like to call Mr. Russell Fernandez, Vice President and National Vertical Head Real Estate, The Times of India, to kindly please join us here on stage. I would now request Mr. Kamal Krishnan, AVP and Branch Head Hyderabad, The Times of India, to kindly please join us here on stage. And now I would like to call upon Vice President and National Vertical Head Real Estate, The Times of India, Mr. Russell Fernandez, to please present the welcome address. In the meantime, I request all our dignitaries to kindly please take your seats.
Check. A very good morning to each and all of you gathered here today. On behalf of the Times of India Group, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. I would especially like to thank our presenting sponsor, Aparna Constructions, and welcome Venkat Ravi, Brand Manager from Aparna. We don't have Sridhar here, but he does support us throughout from Aparna, and I'd like to thank Sridhar as well. A big thank you to our powered by sponsors, Mr. Tapas Patel, CEO, Om Shri Developers, Mr. Noor Mohammad Gilani, Managing Director of Hybiz. I request all of you to please give a big round of applause to them. I'll just say a few things on real estate to kind of set the tone, and I head real estate nationally, so something there in terms of how things are moving. We've seen that post the pandemic, a lot of people have appreciated and seen that real estate and buying properties is one of the most important things. 2022, we saw the maximum number of real estate units that were sold across the country, right? So total number of units in the top 7 cities were about 3.6 lakh units. Now this was higher than the last peak which we had was in 2014, which is about 3.43 lakh units. That trend has continued even in Q1. And in Q1, when I say calendar year, which is Jan, Feb, March, right? There we have seen that the total number of units in India in the top 7 cities has been 62,040. That, the 60,040 which is in Q1, was a 20% growth over the previous year. But something that people don't know, and this is from a JLL report which I saw, is Q1 of this year has been the highest quarter in number of units sold for real estate in the last 15 years. So trends have grown up, very good for real estate. One of the things in real estate that we have seen is also that the prices are growing up. So we have seen that the pandemic, some developers were able to increase prices, some were not able to increase prices. Ready to move in was very hot at that point of time. But in general, across the country now, all developers are able to increase the bar on pricing. If I'll give you a range I have to give you, which is an average, that the prices have increased by 4 to 12%. But I have seen places where developers have increased it by 30, 40, 50%. And we have testimony to that because they print those prices in our jackets, right? One thing is interesting for investors that prices are growing. But if they grow too much, you will find that buyers may not buy as frequently or as many buyers. So that's a little caution that one has to take care of. From this, one of the things that we see is that prices in Bombay, Delhi and Bangalore, on an average, JLL did an indexing from 2018 Q1 to 2023. So Bombay, Delhi and Bangalore, the prices have increased by about 18%. Hyderabad, anyone wants to guess what is the price increase from 2018 Q1 to 2023 compared to the 18% of Bombay or Delhi? No. The average is about 44%. So there are 70% growths, you're right, but 18%. But the right thing is that people buy more. That is more important, right? And that industry grows overall. One of the factors that price increases are happening faster and better is in micro markets. And this would be our first micro market that we have taken upon ourselves, which is North Hyderabad, including Kompally. And we see that micro markets, when people invest, one is the prices are relatively reasonable. Infrastructure is still growing. It is not saturated yet. And therefore, we feel that it can grow much faster. So investing in micro markets like North Hyderabad is something we appeal to people. They should consider even better. Today, we have 22 developers who will showcase all their brands, all their offers. And I thank all of them to promote North Hyderabad and Kompally. And we really look forward to a lot of people coming in and make the best of those offers that our developers have to offer. Before I end, I would like to thank and acknowledge our own Times of India team, starting with Preeti Paruchiri, Vijay Banot, Abhijit Singh, Vinny Alex, who's not with us today, Santosh Paruchiri, Rajit, and the entire Red Cell team. They worked so hard with us. Also our sponsors and Arun, Santosh, etc. And also our branch head, who's always been a pillar of strength, being there for all our real estate initiatives, Kamal. So thank you all of you. Thank you for having me and have a great time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Mr. Russell Fernandez there, sharing valuable insights with all of us here today. Then again, ladies and gentlemen, he has adorned several hats, leading various business segments and portfolios within the group over 2 decades. So I now request you, sir, Mr. Russell, to kindly please step forward and felicitate Mr. Venkat Ravi, Brand Manager, Aparna Construction Estate Private Limited, the title sponsor for this wonderful event with a succulent. Yes, Mr. Kamal, to please join in. I now request Mr. Russell and Mr. Kamal to please present a succulent to Mr. Tapas Patel, CEO and Director, Om Shri Builders and Developers, the Powered By sponsor for this wonderful event. Thank you, sir. It's now time to felicitate Mr. Aslam Irani, Director, High Vision Developers, the Powered By sponsor for this, magnificent event with a succulent. Can we have that here, please? Yes, Mr. Noor Mohammed. Thank you so much, dignitaries. I now invite Mr. Kamal Krishnan, AVP and Branch Head, Hyderabad, the Times of India, to kindly please address the august gathering.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know by design or default, the term auspicious seems to be with us right from the last day yesterday, where the state formation day, the state is planning a huge 10th or the celebration of the formation of the state. And all of us know that the state is setting a lot of benchmarks across the country in setting up various infrastructure projects in terms of IT, in terms of pharma, in terms of so many other sectors that way. And it's so indeed happy when Russell was talking about how real estate has been growing in the country, and Hyderabad in that space setting up benchmarks from a growth perspective. It's leading the country in terms of the growth in real estate. And as the state head for Telangana, it feels so happy to be part of this growth story, which is of the youngest states in the country. And as a branch, it was so important that we had to organize this expo in this part of the city, which is growing tremendously. And it's the first of its kind for the Times Group to have done an expo here. And I'm extremely thankful for all the real estate, the builders who have partnered with us in making this program success. And my special thanks to Aparna, Om Shri and Hyvision for co-partnering with us in this initiative. And to all the other builders too. We hope that there will be a lot of walk-ins, the right kind of prospects who will come into this. The place itself is again auspicious, so it cannot go wrong. So in all sense, I wish that this project that we've taken up today In the next 2 days, we'll have a lot of prospective clients walking in with their families. A lot of efforts have been taken to ensure that the audience will come in. And when I say audience, I mean the right audience, who are prospective buyers. The quality people, quality audience to walk into this place and make this project a huge success. So once again, thanks to all of you who've taken part with us in this initiative, and wishing all of us good luck in the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Kamal Krishnan there, ladies and gentlemen, talking to all of us. Thank you so much, sir. I now request all our dignitaries to please, stand for a photo opportunity. Yes, Mr. Venkat Ravi, Mr. Tapas Patel, Mr. Noor Mohammad Jilani, Mr. Russell Fernandez, and Mr. Kamal Krishnan. Thank you. Thank you so much, dignitaries. Yes, I now request Ms. Preeti Paruchuri, Branch Vertical Head, Real Estate Response, the Times of India, to kindly please come onto the stage to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a moment of pride for the Times of India to host Times Property North Hyderabad Expo for the first time. As Russell Fernandez rightly said, that the intent is to develop the micro market, and we identified this market, North Hyderabad, as a right place where we can take up some initiatives and be a part of the growth and development of the place. We thank 22 developers, participants who have made this event possible. We thank presenting sponsor Aparna Constructions, Homestay Builders, and Hybiz developers who have really helped us make this event possible. Thank you, my torch bearers, Vijay Bhanut Kumar and Abhishek Singh, whose relentless work has, from the last couple of days, or I must say months, which has made this event possible. Thank you, activation team, Rajit, Santosh, Achut, Satish, Irfan, led by Vinny. And thank you, response team, Vijay Bhaskar, Shridhar Kohli, Kunraj sir, Ravi, and our dear friends who have come here to support us. Happy home hunting, and remember, future is Kompally.
Thank you so much, Ms. Preeti. Thank you for talking to all of us. And sharing your remarks with us here today. So, my dear dignitaries, I request you to kindly please take your seats in the audience. My dear friends, in a couple of minutes, we shall start the wonderful panel discussion that we all are looking forward to. Yes, so let's just take a small break, few minutes, and we shall get back with this wonderful, I can say, fireside chat that is going to happen right here. Our esteemed panelists are already in the building, and I'll be calling them on to the stage to take their seats here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, request you to kindly please take your seats. All those who are standing, I request you to please make yourselves comfortable, take your seats. We are about to begin with this, yes, I should say informative, it will be informative panel discussion. So I would now request our panelists to kindly please come onto the stage as I welcome you. Mr. Sandeep Patnaik, Senior Managing Director and Board Member, JLL India, with overall work experience of 24 years. He has spent 16 years in real estate with JLL, working across the office, retail, residential, land, warehousing, and industrial asset classes. As a director in JLL India Board, his role is to steer firms' growth, driving strategic and operational decisions, and ensuring firms' obligations are fulfilled. Thank you, sir, for joining us here today. I now request Mr. Mudit Gupta, Senior Vice President, City Lead, Analog Property Consultants Private Limited, to please join us. Mr. Mudit Gupta is a seasoned real estate professional with over 14 years of proven track record in business strategy, sales, and marketing of real estate projects with renowned developers across the country, contributing to their growth and success. Mr. Modi's expertise lies in exploring new markets, creating distribution networks, implementing effective marketing strategies, and managing diverse business verticals. Thank you, sir, for joining us here today. I now would like to call on stage Mr. Aju Thomas, co-founder CIRIL and President, Trinity Partners. Mr. Aju Thomas has over 25 years of experience in the real estate, brokering, consulting, advisory business in diverse Indian markets like Hyderabad, Chennai, and NCR. Currently, he is the president of Trinity Partners, a boutique real estate consulting firm focusing on office, retail, investment, and logistics segments. And he's also the co-founder of CIRIL, which has grown into one of India's largest real estate consulting companies with offices across 26 cities. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here today. I now would like to call Mr. Tapas Patel, CEO and Director, Om Shri Builders and Developers, onto the stage to take your seat, sir. Mr. Tapas Patel has 6+ years of MC corporate experience, where he worked in Tata Consultancy Services after completing his engineering from INTU Hyderabad. After a successful stint in TCS, he shifted his focus towards building the Om Shri Builders and Developers brand. Under his expertise and guidance, Om Shri has seen the launch of many premium gated communities in Yapril, Secunderabad. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here today. I now would like to welcome Mr. Aslam Hirani, Director, Hybiz Developers, to please join us here on stage. Mr. Aslam Hirani is a young, dynamic entrepreneur with credit of successfully completing projects in constructions, hotels, food, and eco-luxury sustainable green projects over the last 2 decades. He is the founder of Hybiz Developers, Hybiz Hotels, Hybiz Foods, Hybiz Foundation, and co-founder of Green Panther Properties. Sir, thank you so much for joining us here today. I would now request Mr. Russell Fernandez to kindly please come onto the stage to felicitate our esteemed panelists with a token of appreciation. Yes, starting with Mr. Sandeep Patnaik, Senior Managing Director and Board Member, JLL India. Yes, if you can take center stage, sir. Mr. Mudit Gupta, Senior Vice President, City Lead, Analog Property Consultants Private Limited. Mr. Aju Thomas, co-founder, CIRIL and President, Trinity Partners. Mr. Tapas Patel, CEO and Director, Om Shri Builders and Developers. Mr. Aslam Hirani, Director, High Vision Developers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Russell Fernandez there. Thank you for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now the time to invite our moderator for the session. Please put your hands together for Ms. Deepa Gala, Senior Features Editor, Times of India. I request you, ma'am, to kindly please take over the session.
Hello, yeah, it's on. Yeah, you want to just check the mic, so then we can start. I think Tapas, his mic is not on. So. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for being so considerate.
Hello, hello.
So welcome, good morning, and just before we were having a conversation and I said this is one of the best panels ever we could have on this subject. Most of the people here, I've known them for more than a decade, and I've had this conversation on Kompally for a very long time, and I have seen the changes, discussed the trends. So it is going to be a brilliant conversation, I'm sure. And see, the other thing is, having edited Times Property for more than 10 years, I have always had a feeling that property should not be discussed in a crowd of 1,000 people. It should be an intimate conversation where people can speak in detail. Because that kind of knowledge is what will help the Indian buyer. The Indian buyer likes to do a small mini study, mini survey before buying, you know. We are still not willing to just go and buy. So I think the genius that I can see in all of you over the years, we will be able to tap into it and help all our readers who will read, you know, the insights you share. So welcome Sandeep, Aju, Mudit, Tapas and Aslam on this panel. So Kompally, as we know, is one of the fastest growing suburbs. Before the residential boom and the formation of GHMC, it was a small idyllic village on the outskirts of Hyderabad with grape gardens and farmhouses and horticulture. It had poultry farms, so it was known for those things, as we all know. Now, of course, most of the gardens have vanished, and we have layouts, colonies, multi-story apartments. And the main approach to Kompally, when it is through the Metchal 4-lane highway to Nagpur, we have seen landmarks over the years like the Cine Planet, Runway 9, Satyam Quarters, the Apparel Park, EMRI, Dolaridani. All these are names we have grown up with. And, you know, they are stored in our consciousness, in our minds. We've seen this area bloom around those areas. But this is a while back. Today, like Aju laughed yesterday and said, we can't get from Secunderabad to Kompally without a traffic jam. That is the shift we have seen in this area. And I would like to, just for the benefit of the people sitting here, talk about how we see Kompally, like the NH44 interjects through Hyderabad and touches its northmost tip, and all the surrounding areas, Kompally, Godlapachampally, Metchal, have become important destinations. And on the northeast side, the Siddipet highway connects Sikandrabad to Shamirpet via the very famous cantonment area. So right away, let's plunge into the residential story. And I think the lead can very well be taken by the builders who have experienced it firsthand. And then, of course, the whole panel. How have you seen the residential story change in this area? What kind of people are attracted to it? And historically, how has Kompally evolved in this space? Would you like to start, Mr. Aslam?
So we were the builders. We started working in this Kompally area, I would say last 13 years back. When we started working in this area, it was just the beginning of Kompally growth. We just started.
Yeah.
When we started project in the St. Planet Lane, people used to say, who will come here? Who will stay here?
Yeah.
That was the beginning. Like there was no infrastructure, there was no facilities like hospitals, schools, malls.
Yeah.
There was nothing available that time, I would say in the last 13 years, 40 years down the line. And when you see today, after 14 years, there's a big shift. The customer preference has changed. The customer profile has changed. Customer expectation has changed with the builder, what exactly we deliver. So I find a big shift from last 14 years and today. There's a big shift. Now we find big malls, hospitals, schools, hotels, all the infrastructure is now available within the Kompally area. So I would say there's a big shift in all the areas. And I think there's an opportunity for a builder to come with a quality project, to build something which is more sustainable, which can create value for the customers, for the end users. So yeah, I see a big change in the last 12 to 14 years in Kompally area,
Yes.
in north of Hyderabad.
Okay. Tapas, you're probably the most well-known builder here, and you have seen it really grow from the scratch, and your ethos has always been to build well, no matter what. So could you take us through this whole journey, and also how you've seen people change, how their opinion about things have changed?
Kompally traditionally has been a market where, is it audible?
Yeah, I've told them.
So Kompally actually has been a market where people who are settlers from the other states have been thriving around this area. If we go back, the initial development which happened, I think it was sometime in late 90s, were all plottings, and those plots were taken by most of the people who have migrated from Andhra, and also a couple of people who have their industrial units in and around Metchal, because Metchal industrial area was
Yes.
very well developed
Yes.
since 1980s, late 80s and early 90s. And gradually we have seen, in fact in my case, I've always struggled to find the buyer who is really looking out for quality and who can pay more. Because I was never looking out for a buyer who is just looking at a house.
Yeah.
That was not my segment. It's not that we don't have builders who are looking into that segment. So for me, now I see a lot of people who actually are looking at quality homes, who are trying to, not just look at a house, and they are all second or third time buyers, and who are trying to anchor their, final residential unit in Kompally and around Kompally area. Because I operate not only in Kompally, but I also operate on slightly northeastern part of Kompally, which is the Yapral area.
Yes.
So I've seen both the areas, northeastern part and the northern part. The kind of buyers which we were looking at 10 years back, who can appreciate quality, who is not price conscious, now we are able to find those type of buyers easily. So that's a paradigm shift which we have seen as far as the perception of the buyer is concerned towards the area.
Absolutely. And also, Aju, if you could tell us a little bit about the pricing puzzle. Like there are homes and I'm sure Tapas is very happy that, they are at equal value or sometimes even higher than the more talked about financial district or other areas, and still the land value is lower. So what is it that has kept this going?
So that's a puzzle that I myself have not been able to solve till date.
Okay. But Tapas is very happy.
I have never come across
the valuations is getting, am I right?
I have never come across a city in our country where land valuations are in such sharp contrast from one side to another side.
Yeah.
The difference at one point in time was almost 10 times. Today, at least the difference at least 5-6 times. But having said that, I think where Kompally scored properly was that it is perfectly placed right on the north edge of the city, catering to both Shamirpet, where there's a lot of employment generation from Genome Valley, and it is perceived and to be a little cheaper than High-Tech City earlier. So now I think some of the prices that Tapas and all would be selling would compare to anything that is being sold in the financial district. And so both, it is benefited from both the sides. It is benefited from High-Tech also, it is benefited from the Genome Valley side also. And if you otherwise strictly look at Kompally, there is no economic activity. There are no offices, there are no factories. It's only predominantly residential. But it has catered very well and people have taken it up. And the lack of development on the Shamirpet side, apart from factories and maybe the excess of development in high-tech, has kind of benefited Kompally very, very, very positively. I've been seeing, and what I like about Kompally is it's got a natural kind of a growth.
Yes.
I think I've been seeing this market from a point when apartments were below 1,500 rupees a square foot, maybe about 17, 18 years back, to now wherever they are at about 7.5, whatever. So the growth has been natural.
Gradual.
So it's still very much in affordability range. I was happy to see, a board of a newly launched villa also this side. So it's a market where you will find apartments, where you'll find villas. Things are not out of reach yet.
Yes, yes.
So it's the right mix kind of a thing.
Modi, do you think that after the post-pandemic, what the rush we saw for bigger homes, greener spaces, and, the kind of approach that went into the market post-pandemic, do you think that is one of the reasons why suddenly people, because this area is probably the greenest, cleanest we have in the city?
So basically post-pandemic, what happened was that people started looking for bigger houses. So they have to do their work from home, the kids have to study school also through online. So they started looking for bigger homes, and hence people started, when they have to work from home, it's okay to live a little far off from their office space, but get a bigger house. So that kind of exploded all across the city, and people working in high-tech city and these areas, they kind of moved towards the north. So since Kukatpalli and all were out of the reach, Kompally is something which is the best location, good nature around, and overall, if you see in terms of numbers also, North Hyderabad, pre-pandemic levels, the supply was somewhere around 5,000 to 6,000 units in a year, which increased to around 20,000 units in 2021 and around 18,000 units in 2022. And similarly, the absorption also increased likewise. So from a 2,500 to 3,000 units selling in a year, post-pandemic it increased to around 10,000 units in a year. So that's kind of a multifold increase people have seen in this area. And that's primarily because the area is good, social infrastructure is very well. You have good connectivity to Begumpet, to Banjara Hills, to High-Tech City. And plus, you have good greenery. Defense area is also nearby. So that also adds a lot of greenery to the overall green space.
Livable, very livable.
Yeah. So I think it's a very livable area, and hence, by seeing the kind of developments which is now happening here, the malls and schools were already there, hospitals are coming up. So I think this becomes one of the next go-to market if you're not able to afford anything in the Gachibowli area. So I think this is a very good area for anyone to go to.
Sandeep, veteran on all things Hyderabad, what's your take?
No, on a lighter note, I'm very sad with all this development because Tappan and all, doing all development, I'm missing my dhawa days. I used to love my dhawa food, Zee dhawa and Diwan dhawa and all. Absolutely. I think real estate prices have gone up. All my dhawas have really vanished and all. Right? I think I always believe that in any city, a particular location will flourish or blossom in a cycle. Right? Okay. And I think the cycle we started for this, while I agree with Achu that it was a very natural, it did not happen all of a sudden the way Western Corridor happened. But having said that, the real attraction to this entire market has started coming in last 4 years, if to be very honest, or 5 years, right? And people have started saying that Kompally has become a second Kukatpalli when it comes to the Andhra population, right? And that is where it is. So I feel the way in every city there is a cycle of 5 to 10 years where particular location starts showing the true appreciation for that locality. I think that long waited. If you see till in the 2007 and 8 boom, 2006-8, where it was a very artificial boom across Hyderabad, and this area also had artificial boom, where the land prices here went up to 9 crore per acre. But from 2009 January, I feel till 2015, it was still a very sleepy market. Yeah. From 2015 to 18, it started picking up, and 2018 onward, it started exploding. Now, someone who has not come to this part of city for 4 or 5 years, he will be surprised with the retail outlets and the restaurant. In fact, I was surprised. I'm a big foodie. I find very good restaurants in and around Kompally. And you have continental restaurant. Then I asked my my friends, do you have people in this part of city who can appreciate continental restaurant, right? And then you have very good cafes and all. So what happens is when a businessman does put a continental restaurant or does put a cafe, he would have done his homework. I think this clearly shows that this is no longer for the years to come, or already it is no longer just a value market, right? We cannot term now Kompally, because when you see the retail, when you see the F&B, I think the first indicator to tell a location is not a value market, is F&B. You have to see the type of F&B it is covering, food and beverage. And I can tell you the way it is moving. I think for the years to come, next 5-10 years, this is really going to be a happening area. And I will not be surprised if people from Western Quadrant take the outer ring road, take 45 minutes to 1 hour to come to this part of the city to experience something. Yes. I think that is going to happen. And once that happens, I think it's testimony. When people come all the way, let it be once in 5 months or 6 months, when they come to have, let's go to that pub, or let's go to that F&B, or let's go to that mall, 1 hour taking the outer ring road, I think you both would have contributed a lot to this, right? That's my view.
Yes. A lot of sharp observations, but I'm sure you all the Secunderabad people will agree that the crowd has been cosmopolitan for a very long time. And it has always been like, because of the defense and all the...
And the Raju communities and all.
Because I grew up here, I know the crowd has been cosmopolitan, sophisticated, but it's just that and you may disagree, but I just want to put out a loud thought here, that I think that we pitched high-tech city at a level which we haven't pitched any other part of the city, and consistently we have pitched it. And then, the newer areas just kept getting tagged on, like the Gachibolis and the Nalagadlas, and every time we do. So I'm just saying, as a loud thought, I feel we haven't done that for North Hyderabad.
No, but people, I'll tell you, what is happening is the right thing to happen. We cannot have a city where everything is focused on one part of the city, that is Western Quadrant. It is a disaster. We are seeing the traffic issue in that part of the city, right? And I'm glad that this development is happening in this part of the city, because it cannot be, if you see any matured city, there is a growth on all the directions, right? And unfortunately, this city had a growth unidirectional in Western Quadrant. I'm very happy as a proud Hyderabadi that this part of the city is finally getting the deal, and it's finally happening. And I think more quadrants needs to happen. And similarly, the southern city is also happening. It is good story for Hyderabad. And I want to congratulate both of you, whether it's OMC developers and Vision. I always believe that one or two developers need to take that bet. And I always believe the first mover's advantage not necessary in the initial 3-4 years you will earn profits, right? When Aparna moved in Nalaganda, they struggled, they are reaping benefits now. So you will not reap the benefits in first 3-4 years, but you will reap the benefits. But you are the category killer. I always say that the segment killer. So you have taken that bold step. I think a lot of developers from the western quadrant will see the success of yours. Aparna is already there. But other than Aparna, we don't see the pan Hyderabad developers. But seeing the success of you, both the developer, whether it is Vision and Hybiz and you, I think a lot of developers will come. So kudos to both Aparna and you.
Yeah.
Just to add
sure.
to what Sandeep has said, if we look at traditionally the way the Kompally has developed, the kind of civic infrastructure which we see in Kompally is much more robust than the western part.
Absolutely.
Because if you recollect, in maybe early 90s or mid 90s also, there were layouts which were being, maybe panchayat layouts which were being done here and they were being sold here. I still remember because I have done my schooling from this part of the city. So in those times, we used to have Ramraj Nagar. They used to call it Ramraj Nagar, which is now called Suchitra. That layout has happened ages back.
Yeah.
So since then, the civic infrastructure has been growing constantly. And the way in the western corridor the explosion has happened, it didn't give really time for the civic infrastructure to be developed. So now you see the pressure being felt on all the basic amenities there, which is not going to be the case with Kompally and the northern part of the city.
Yes.
So I think that is where the ground has to be set, and now I think I'm hopeful that even government is watching this. So let's see how things pan out in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. So Mudit, do you think the fact that it is connected with the ORR is one of the key things which has flipped the entire destiny of the space, because people can, as he said, move in and move out at great speeds without, dealing with a lot of traffic jams on the way? So...
Yeah, so I think ORR is a big boon for this area. So the connectivity to the western part and other parts of the city becomes easier. So like Sandeep said, it took him 45 minutes to 60 minutes from west part of the city to come here. I've come from Kokapet. So I wanted to come from within the city to experience, the entire city and how the traffic was, being Saturday, not much of a traffic issues. So even from coming while inside the city, it took me only 60 minutes to reach here. And definitely when you're using the ORR, the connectivity to the western part of it, the Neopolis which is coming up there, so people can kind of stay here and then they can travel to Neopolis every day. It won't take more than 45 minutes for them to reach there. So definitely ORR helps the overall area here to get developed, and connectivity becomes a big plus point for this area.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. 6 minutes is nothing. So Aju, this area came back in highlight when the government started discussing the grid policy again. And they said, okay, now we want to move the attention from the very tightly populated and spaces which we have, overhyped spaces. You think the grid policy, the thought process behind it was helpful? Was it on point? Was it accurate? Did we implement it? Did those offices, what were imagined to come, did they come? If they did not come, why not? And Sandeep, your take two on that. Then we'll go.
You're asking about the grid policy?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. My thoughts are a little different on the grid policy. See,
basically the question is, what should the government have done, if not that?
So, whenever I have heard government officials talk about the grid policy, they perceive it as a success. I think it started just after the first round of pandemic in 2020. I have not seen, except for one project, any other project actually taking advantage of the grid policy.
Yeah.
There seem to be certain major deficiencies in the way it is proposed. So typically, it was for conversion of industrial land to
Yes.
multi zone. And you have to do 50%, up to 50% commercial and then 50% residential. And in the 50% commercial, you have to get the occupancy certificate of the commercial first, then apply for the residential bit of it. I think they gave permission to about 6 or 7 developers the day they
Yes.
launched the policy. I don't think any of those projects have taken off. The only one that I've seen take off is Ramki and Genpact deal that has happened is where significant amount of commercial, I'm sure Genpact only would be consuming. With this policy, what has happened is you have planned for an oversupply of commercial much before the demand has kind of set in. And the residential business is more of a cash flow business.
Yeah.
The commercial business, if you try to sell it on a retail side, developers might have to wait a longer cycle to, get their realizations in place. So I think this lack of practicality has kind of hit the grid policy a bit, is my sense. Whenever I talk to any developer, I don't see any developer being very gung-ho about doing anything under the grid policy. So rather industrial, so if it is made a little more practical, suppose you want to even make a mall, still this policy gets into action. So it has to be made a little more practical. I think a larger discussion is required with the developer community as to how they can come out. Residential is definitely required, but commercial on top of that, maybe to some extent, will help it.
You're doubling down the builders. Yeah. Tapas, would you agree to that? That it's totally unfair to do that?
I agree to the point which Aju sir has said, but then if you look at northern part of Hyderabad, the challenge here is in the northwestern part and northeastern part, the kind of land which is available. We really cannot, we have forest on the northwestern part. You have a huge forest area. On the northeastern part, after the Air Force, Hakimpet Air Force Station and the cantonment, you again have a forest which is there towards...
it has not been released in Geo 111?
Well, we'll see. Okay. But then the problem here is the only zone where we have... So the pressure on Medchal Road is going to be actually quite high in the days to come. So we'll have to see how the land is going to be allocated for all these policies also to be implemented. That's going to be one challenge in the days to come.
Okay. But you think builders can manage the residential plus commercial if they were given the appropriate...
I think with the kind of crowd we are seeing and with the kind of catchment area which is getting developed, we should be able to manage in
now,
the days.
You think that... Is it more practical now than it was 4 years ago? It's not working. So.
Hello. What you might also see is on this road, this has historically been 70-80% of our warehousing supply of the city. Your logistics and warehousing around.
Kompally and...
With the land price getting a little higher, you would see warehousing moving outside the ORR more aggressively, and a lot of these land parcels will get freed up possibly for residential and other activities. So you will have decent amount of supply this side, on the private side.
Okay. System, what is your view on this whole residential office and the grid policy, and how does it help or not help the builders, and what else should the government do?
I would say it's part of an ecosystem. Like with residential, definitely the need and demand for the office space is there in north of Hyderabad. And as far as the grid policy is concerned, it's all about how government can help bring a lot of MNC companies to this part of the city, which can again help to create that brand image of North Hyderabad. As we see West, all big brands, Amazon, Facebook, IKEA, all big brands have their presence in the west of Hyderabad, which has already created a brand for them. How maybe if government can help think over how they can get some brands on this side of the city which help our whole ecosystem to build and develop. As of now, the way I feel is that the mindset of the investor, a builder for the office space is limited due to multiple reasons. So I think there's about more of mindset than I would say about more of the opportunity. Opportunity is there. I agree with Aju. There is need for office space. But how we build that ecosystem around the north of Hyderabad so that we can see that the mindset change. I think it's more of mindset than a part of opportunity. There's an opportunity, there's a need, there's a demand. But I think how government can help on this line would make a big difference.
So Sandeep, there is a ready audience. How do we change mindsets? How do we bring in the big brands in office spaces and retail? And
no, retail obviously is happening big time here. So this area, see, retail is a very different segment. Retail wants anything, any location which has certain threshold of 20,000, 50,000 people, 1 lakh people, that retail will happen.
But big malls haven't happened.
Yeah,
Very big malls.
The malls will come. Malls will come. Absolutely, it will come. The challenge is always the IT, the information technology. Now I'll give an example. The first IT park which came in the eastern Hyderabad, Uppal, was almost 8-9 years back. Right?
Yes.
And after that, it's still finding it difficult to find the tenants. And
Yes.
the other small developers have tried through the grid policy, but the challenge remains the same, what Aju is saying, that you are telling, hey, developer, you have to first complete the IT and get the OC and then start the residential, or your build, or FSI, what you're constructing in residential has to be at the same level as office space. That is economical, not viable for a location which is upcoming. So government has to tweak the rule. We have to see how the announcement of the IT park here, which is built by government in Konulkaya, which is close to 7 to 8 lakh square feet, is going to change. Now, obviously, there are a lot of small SME IT companies who need 50 seats, 100 seats, 200 seats will come here. Big companies initially will not come, first 5-7. So these domestic companies, small companies will start. And success of that will then define, if you have to say that any Fortune 2000 company will come now to this part of the city, answer is not now, even for next 5 years is also a challenge. But the success of this small and medium enterprise companies, in IT companies, BPO companies, which gives jobs from 50 people to 200 people, 100 people, success of that, seeing that the success, the big players will come, right? That is very, very important, right? But I believe that but the way I look at is office space is leasing office space is not only rentals, right? It is, if someone is giving you 30 rupees rental, that cannot be a marketing pitch. Hey, you are getting in high-tech city 70 to 75 rupees, I'll give you at 40 rupees, come. That does not work out. It depends on a lot of factors. The first is the manpower. Right? They would like to see the social infrastructure, they would like to see the schools, the colleges, everything, and the ecosystem, right? And then if you see the parameter, the real estate is the third item on their list, right? So once this ecosystem comes here, and also the success of that IT park by government, I think things will follow. But I believe that it will at least take 5 to 7 years for an IT ecosystem to come here. But the government has to play a very important role to push this location. Any location to happen, a government has to play a very, 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 very important role.
Absolutely.
I think this government is doing that, and government is very cognizant of the fact that they want the growth to happen all around the city, and they want to stop the maddening traffic and the chaotic infrastructure stuff which can happen in next 4 to 5 years in Western quadrant. They are aware of that and they want to stop that. So they will also make sure that they push this location for ITS.
So when you say 4-5 years, you even include the Kondlakoya IT park?
Yeah. Including that, it will take time. Right, and once after 4-5 years, once the success happens, then I always say let's analyze why Uppal has not been successful from an ITS.
Good point.
It defies certain logic, and Aju will agree. One of the dense residential catchment. People travel from all the way from there to high-tech city. Now it takes, if they come by the car, that takes 1.5 hours to come, 1.5 hours to go. Right? right? Metro has made a little bit of here. So you have talent pool, you have residential, you have best public sector enterprise there, but things are not happening, right? So I feel that IT to happen, because please understand IT is B2B, not B2C, right? So to convince IT company to come, right? One or two big companies have to take a call to go there, right?
Absolutely.
And it is the mindset of, and I'm not sure whether I should tell, I always believe that most of the decisions, whether a company should go a particular location or not, frankly speaking, the call is taken by 5 or 7 guys, right? In the senior management stuff like that,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Right, because if you see in any IT company, I will say bet 20% or to 25% of people are coming in Eastern Hyderabad, right? But we speak of social infrastructure, right? Let me tell you, there is hardly any social infrastructure in and around financial district. If right, things are happening, right?
Almost none.
So if a leap of faith is taken by the CEOs and CXOs to go to a particular location, things will happen. Plus, please understand, the top 10 percentile of any company stay in Western Hyderabad, right? So the decisions are taken by them, right? And to be very honest, right, how decision. So the leap of faith has to be taken by a few of the decision makers. Okay, we'll open a 200-seater office in North Hyderabad, a 400-seater in East Hyderabad, and let's put a 4,000-seater in West Hyderabad. But that small hub and spoke model, which should be the way to go, because hub and spoke model is happening now in Tier 2, Tier 3. Very simple logic. Post-pandemic, all the real estate are saying that there are enough talent in Tier 2, Tier 3. They are not willing to come back. We will open 200, 300-seater office space in Vijayawada, in Warangal and all. Yes. That is happening. My logic is then why you cannot open a 200 to 300-seater office space in North Hyderabad or in East Hyderabad, right? It again defies logic. If they can take a call of hub and spoke model in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, why they are not taking a hub and spoke model decision in North Hyderabad and East Hyderabad? That is my take.
You've given a lot of points. Everybody has been listening very attentively. I would like Ajay and Tapas and Aslam to tell me from their point of view everything that has been said, and if you have any other solution, or will we go through the whole rigmarole?
So I agree to a large extent that marketing Uppal is a difficult proposition. For that matter, even Kompally is a difficult proposition from an office perspective. But in the last couple of years, I'm seeing some changes. From our perspective, when we look at, say, a market like Uppal, till now, most of the space was only SEZs. Not all IT firms need SEZs. There is only one building which is non-SEZ and for IT buildings. I'm happy now that that building is kind of 90% full. So that gives me confidence that you can do another 3, 4 lakh, 5 lakh square feet in Uppal. It will move. I see demand coming in there. Kompally, I think the right way of doing it is, co-working is the flavor of the season. I see this area to be perfect for about 2,500, 3,000 seats of co-working here. That will help this 100, 200 seats, what Sandeep was, and get that hub in place. On a larger scale, I think government also has to think, like Sandeep mentioned about Tier 2, Tier 3.
Absolutely.
It is my personal opinion that many of these requirements are not metro plus Tier 2. So if somebody is shifting 1,000 seats to 3 Tier 2 cities,
yes,
it is not all the 7-city metro plus 1,000 seats. It is minus from here. So it is I see it as leakage of demand. So if somebody is taking a 200, 300 seater to Warangal, it is that much amount of office space, less in Hyderabad and more in Warangal. So government aggressively is looking at getting people to take more space in Hyderabad, but also has to proactively look at how this leakage can be stopped. And this leakage is getting serious now.
Yes, it's going to other cities outside Telangana also.
I agree with Sandeep. Kompally is perfect like maybe a Warangal. This high street is like the main street of Warangal. It's got good density residential, it's got retail. The only thing lacking is office space. Maybe just started with some co-working kind of a flavor. It will kind of start off. And some of these tier 2 cities are not ready for these larger IT firms. The vendor background, the support infrastructure, the facility vendors, that is not there. So I find some of these guys are actually struggling setting up their centers. That is where places like Uppal and Kompally can score big time. So if you want a little bit of a hub and spoke, and 30-40% of your employees anyway live in north and east, it can work very well. That's my
West
sense.
and north, hub and spoke.
No, I didn't realize when I was talking about Uppal, things not happening. When she started speaking, and then I realized in a few seconds that, oh my God, Aju is there. So Aju, out of all the real estate consultant, has made the maximum money in Uppal. So sorry.
Ludit, what do you have to say? Maybe I should start by asking where you're making the most money, but please, as per your research and reports.
So regarding the IT infrastructure that we're talking about, so the onus of it lies a lot on government. So if you have to compare, say, Hyderabad with Bangalore, Bangalore has 3 different IT hubs, one in north, one in east, and one in south. Now, Hyderabad, the west side is getting saturated, and the government is still putting more and more emphasis on increasing the IT in the west, creating Neopolis and going till Kolur. So I think government also has to take onus of kind of developing the north area, and the Kandla IT Park, which is upcoming, if it comes on fast, there will be companies which will come and set up their base there, and then the overall economic activity will kind of increase. It might take some time, but the government has to push more to kind of get it ready as soon as possible.
Got it. Yes. Tapasi, really from the builder's point of view, 2-3 things. One is see, I was just driving through the ORR. The ORR here I was sharing with some people is actually more pleasant than the ORR on the other side. And there are so many positives, but clearly something is missing in the puzzle for us not to be able to see that kind of shift. And of course, he has given his explanation, but if you want to add something, both of you.
So I would like to add here a very important geographical challenge which we have. And unless government addresses that challenge, it is not going to be possible to explore office space beyond a point, because you are not really having wider interior roads which are developed already. So the pressure is always going to be on NH44. Now NH44, you cannot find a space beyond a point. Like for example, in the west, when you look at the kind of interior roads and the kind of grids which they have constructed. So that kind of, I think, change in the master plan or whatever is possible, if that happens, then we really have scope for the commercial. Otherwise, it will always remain as a residential market, apart from 1 or 2 roads where you have some sort
Sandeep,
of a...
do you agree to that there is just no availability?
I think is bang on target that I think the master planning of this place needs to be redone, and ways and means, he's right. How, to what extent a one single road can bear the pressure? It is one single road, that too also a national highway. You need to have inside roads, you need to have places where, you can have on the main road, residential is coming, mall is coming, IT park is coming. So it will be chaotic. Already it is chaotic in the sense in the evening if you see. I think provided, I'm not sure how government will do it, whether it's too late or not, but government has to redo the master plan of the entire thing. I have to see where is the government land available, if at all available, how to do it, how to release the lands and stuff like that. And also, what happens if you see, I always believe that obviously there are 3 stakeholders to promote a location. One is the government, one is the developers, and one is consultants like us, right? And I always say that the best marketing people to make a small thing look big we have to take that example from US, right? If it's a small brand, the developers like you who have an interest in this location, consultant like Aju and JLL and Anrock, and the CVRs and the Cushmans, all, and also the government have to come. How do we market this place, right? How do we market this place? How do we effective marketing we need to do to make sure that we sell this place, right? It should make sense. It cannot be only that you are doing a construction and you are only marketing your project. We have to market this as a location. when all of us interests are linked, we should come as a force, market the North Hyderabad as a location instead of each developer doing marketing only his or her product. That is something we need to look at.
Absolutely. Bang on. And would you like to share what kind of marketing thought we can put forward? Because we're going to make sure that the people in the government read the story. Any of you, when he says that we should market it, the whole space, rather than, a few builders, like the whole thought, the whole concept, like we just discussed, we don't know where to bring these A-grade office spaces. We're talking about it, but where is the land? So if we had to plan for a marketing concept for North Hyderabad, what would it be? If something is just coming to your mind right now, I know it's short notice, but...
See, from a marketing perspective, I think we have been one agency who has been marketing East and North quite a bit. But the pushback, so when it comes to opportunities in Hyderabad, I think developers come with some blinkers on. It's only West. They look at only West. I'll give you a great example. In Malkajgiri, there's a very successful project done by Jain Sadhguru, house, apartment commercial. I don't think I have left out any national developer to show that project. And nobody was willing to take a chance on developing that project, in spite of the fact that in the entire Malkajgiri area in East, there's not a single inch available.
Packed.
I had a national developer even telling me not more than 3,500 rupees kind of stuff can be sold there. And I believe today it's being sold at almost 6.5, 7, if not more, kind of a number. So we have to look at holistically that, it's not just the government, the developers also have to come onto this side. There are opportunities. And I hope that financial viability will suddenly dawn on these developers, that land price is probably, say, 1/5 of high-tech city, but the apartment price is equivalent to or more than financial district. I'm not too sure why this financial viability doesn't dawn on our developers.
I should ask you too. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Aju. National developer to baat ki baat hai. The developers like Aparna needs to come. Aparna has come. Now it will motivate a lot of developers from top developers, top down to come. What happens, Aju, is that when the brigades and prestige of all the national developer comes, they want to play safe. They want to go to a location which is already established, the west of Hyderabad. I think the Hyderabad-based strong developers need to come to a location, and I'm telling 100% is that Aparna has come. Success of Aparna will motivate a lot of developers like Raj Pushpa, like My Home and other developers to come. And I always believe is that, and I'm telling you, I had come for some meeting here, then JLL is marketing a project here by Advait and stuff like that. So what I believe is that a presence of a brand is very complimentary to you. It does more good to you than harm to you, because the effort by the developers who are only concentrating that location, that effort comes down to market once a big brand comes, because that big brand creates that location, right? So we need to have more Aparnas here to make sure. Now people will start talking. Aparna is doing almost 2 to 3 projects in North Hyderabad. What is happening? They would have done their homework well. Then slowly the top developers from Western will come. And then what happens, it makes how the local developers like you can have 2 schools of thought. You can think that, look, if they come, then it becomes difficult for us from a competition perspective. But believe me, it makes your marketing effort much, much easier, right? It is much, much easier. It is like a simple concept. If you see in a high street retail, you will find all jewelers store next to each other. Right? You will find all jewelers store next to each other.
Jewelry in habits.
So it complements. And I feel that more bigger brands from Hyderabad needs to come to this location, and the brand creation will happen. As you asked, what needs to be done? I think few more brands need to come here to create that brand. But he has that one problem which we are not finding it. To what extent a single road can take the pressure, right? Absolutely. Because now what happening is, if you see your apartments has gone from the further beyond Konilkoya Junction also, right? And warehousing which was there in Medchal, now warehouse has gone as 20 kilometers further Medchal. So now what will happen? The same road, only the kilometers is going to stretch. That is not going to serve the purpose.
We really need your inputs. You are here. You should share what problems you face, what the government can do, and what's working for you.
So the fact that, a lot of the single road and the pressure was primarily with respect to the IT space and the commercial.
Land parcels.
But then as far as the interior roads for the residential market are concerned, we are very, very good with it.
Good.
And also we should change the psychology of a particular, buyer, that only if we have IT spaces in a specific area, that area is a developed area or that area is an upcoming area. That is one mindset which is something which people should slowly now start changing.
Our definition of...
We need to redefine. We need to really redefine, because here if you look at the entire spectrum of northwest to northeast, from northwest if you look at it, we have so many industries. We have the Chinnaram industrial area, we have got pharma industries there. Recently they have announced that manufacturing industry. Then we have got along Medchal Road a lot of biotech industries, seed companies and various other. Then we move to northeast, we have got a huge defense establishment. Then you go to Genome Valley. So all these industries have a very good chance to, this is a very good catchment area for all these industries where they, employees and people who are working there can stay and comfortably develop in this area.
Can't an industrial area be considered a very high-end area? Why only technology areas are looked at online? This is a genuine question, and I think if anybody wants to add.
I think it's in a way it's a right. In the sense, what happens is that, as you said, as national developer work with some margin, right, and might not with local developers. So what happens? They feel that the people who work for ITs has a better income as compared to people who work in manufacturing sectors. I'm just giving a perspective. But as he said, if you see Bombay or any other locations, you don't have IT everywhere. You have only IT in and around BKC, and I'm talking of Bombay and Navi Mumbai, but that residential is all over, right? So he's right in a way that to make a location successful, while some amount of office is required, if not IT. It can be pure
any kind
small
of
commercial office and stuff like that. But every location for a residential to success, always it is not IT, but there has to be a vibrant ecosystem, right? So, but let's talk about the Chennai. I'm just giving an example.
Sure.
Chennai automobile sector is big sector in Chennai, right? And because of automobile sectors, right, the residential development has got big positive impact, right? So here in this part of the city, right, there are a lot of in the northeast and the northwest, a lot of announcement has happened. It is just a due course in next, I think, 3 to 5, 7 years you will see an impact, right? It might not be a 9,000, 10,000 market the way it is, but I think that the beauty of this place is that if someone needs an affordable housing of 60 to 80 lakhs, see what has gone wrong in Hyderabad, I'll tell you. Before COVID or till 2018-19, if someone wanted a 2-bedroom house, aram se 60 to 80 lakhs mein mil jata tha. I'm talking of the western quadrant. Now, including registration stamp duty, they are not getting anything less than 1.10 to 1.1 to 1.2 crores, right? So what is happening that every location has advantage. Now, if this location can give a 2-bedroom house at a 60 lakhs to 70 lakhs bracket or 80 lakhs bracket, I think it itself is it's a success, right? Because every location has a selling point. And a very, very, I think, when the location gets very, very costly, I think the other location itself comes up, right? Because there has to be something to counter that. I think this location, currently, if I understand right, is depending on where the location is, the 5,500 to 6,500 is the range, right? Will it reach 10,000 rupees? We don't know. But we need not be 10,000 for developers to make a decent margin, is what I'm trying to say.
Addressing the gaps.
Yeah,
please.
Another point which I would like to add here, we are missing a large population of Sikandrabad who are now looking to go out of their crowded places and
Yes.
stay in good gated communities.
Yes.
Because the generation which is now coming up,
Yeah.
the children who are there now,
They will not live.
they are all wanting to stay in gated communities.
Yes.
So this flyover development which is happening along the National Highway 44,
Right now, yes.
that is going to be acting as a catalyst for all those, business people who are working and staying in and around Secunderabad, Paradise and all those areas to also look out at Kompally as their, destination for staying. Because here the kind of gated community and the level of gated communities which we are going to be coming up in the future is going to be definitely giving them that standard of living.
Yes.
So I think we should, and just to give you some statistics, Kompally is now also looking at a 1.1, 1.2 plus kind of a ticket size very easily now. Gone are the days when, people used to look at Kompally as
Yes, absolutely.
60 odd lakhs, 70 odd lakhs kind of a market now. So we are actually now attracting a very good kind of clientele. And I think with this kind of infrastructural development of flyovers and coming up, even the Maratpallis and the Paradises and all those areas which are now having a lot of pressure and people are not really enjoying the fruits of gated community, will be looking at options here.
Yes.
One example I'll give you, the success of Haldi project. Now Haldi project is at Tupra, almost 30 kilometers. Now when JLL was initially involved in selling the golf plots, now it is in Tupra, quite far off. Most of the people who took the golf plots, 400 square yard to 600 square yard thing, are the people from Kompally and that Secunderabad. Because what is spoke of about gated community, about aspirational living. People have money, businessmen have money in that Secunderabad market, but they don't have facility. So when you give a good facility, good gated community, people from there will spend money because they want to live a community, as you rightly said. And the classic example is where I was pleasantly surprised that people at the initial days of Haldi, I'm talking of 3 years back when they started marketing it, people are more than willing to buy it for saying that, look, we are initially taking it now, but after 10 years, we'd love to stay here, right? Now they are taking that call.
Absolutely.
So if that call can be taken 30 kilometers from here because of the facilities, because they're coming with the resort, they're coming with the... So he's right, if you give facilities,
Here.
things will happen.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Point taken. Would you like to add something with it? Unaddressed gaps.
Yeah, so majorly the second generation which is there. So people who've been primarily living in their standalone houses, the second generation now wants a better lifestyle. They
Yes.
want amenities and facilities for their kids to enjoy. They want something, after coming from office, they should have a clubhouse, they should have a swimming pool, a gymnasium to kind of go and relax a bit. So because of that, people are, now moving out from their old houses, moving to bigger houses for a lifestyle upgrade. And majority of the cases where the parents, they don't want to move out, so the kids move out with their family, and they kind of live in a place which is nearer to ORR, nearer to a 5-7 kilometer radius of their existing house, so that during the weekends they can go back to their parents and enjoy with them. So that is one part of it. From an investment part of it, North Hyderabad also sees a lot of investment coming from the nearby districts. So we are doing a plotted development in Medchal. So there the majority of buyers are coming from the districts which are on the other side of it. And the rates have gone in the last 2 years as high as 30,000 to 40,000 rupees per square yard. And it's not a pure play investment. People are buying to make their house and live in the coming a couple of years. So that's the kind of change and shift in the mindset of people that have been seen in that area.
The genuine interest in the space. So it is a question of coming up with the right formats for this space. And Aslam, would you as a builder use different formats, the ORR, and do the magic?
So the way I see for any human being or any area to grow, the core is human resource. If you see east, west, north, south,
Yes.
the human resource available in north of Hyderabad, the quality of life, the education parameters, we find that is much better than south, maybe east. So the population which is growing in north of Hyderabad, the human resource which is available in north of Hyderabad, creates a lot of opportunities for all the stakeholders, whether it is residential project, commercial project, for IT growth, for any areas. So it's all about how we market, how we communicate to the interstate parties. This communication is very important. Because if you see from Secunderabad to Medchal, I don't find you for any hut. It's the quality of life is good. Only the challenge, bottleneck is from Paradise to Kompally. That's the only bottleneck we find. That's the only challenge. After which now there is a lot of bridges coming up, which will give a lot of boost to Kompally area. So how all this is communicate on the different platforms to showcase what north of Hyderabad has to offer. I think that will make a big shift in overall the way we see north of Hyderabad. So maybe this could be a good platform. One more thing I wanted to, about the Sandeep part, like how builders can think of a big builder coming or some brand builder coming to this place would make a big difference for other builders too. The way I personally feel is that it's all about collaboration. It's all about alliances. It's all about working together. Doesn't make difference, like we come from the same industry, work in the same product, but how we can bring that synergy of working together as builders. I would say this is a good platform to communicate that also.
I just wanted to ask Viranji, do you have, because I just took a point from you and it came in split second, do you have a developer association with a body which does regular meetings for in the north of Hyderabad? Do you have?
So we have a CREDAI. We are all part of CREDAI as a life member. And definitely there frequently we have meetings every month. That's a platform where we all meet and we collaborate. So I would say this initiative of thinking how we can work together in different areas of creating.
My suggestion, Viranji, will be, I know CREDAI, I'm closely associated. I just came. One of the ways to market, and then I took one point of collaboration and synergy. If you all developers who have a stake in this part of city, you make an association of yourself, have regular meetings and conferences and dialogues and workshops, because it was a very good point. Unfortunately, and I'm really, really happy that you said that and impressed, developers mostly have a sense of competition. They don't have sense of collaboration. And what you said is perfect. Once that sense of collaboration comes and you say, hey guys, these are the 30 developers who have a stake in north of Hyderabad. Let's come under a platform and let's help each other to market this location or this thing. If I think you should start thinking on that. Otherwise, what happens is that, I'll just give you an example. We have CREDAI, absolutely no, and CREDAI will do a property show in North. But I'm saying just doing one property show by Times of India or by CREDAI, it is just helping small cause. If you do this and go to the government, the nodal agencies, okay, we want this, we want this, we want this, I think that will happen. So think on those lines if you can bring all the developers of this part of the city as one platform.
No, that's a very good idea, Sandeep. I really appreciate that thought. I just want to give you a small example. I work as a volunteer for Aga Khan Foundation. So we have different alliances working together for different professions. Like we have alliance for garments association, we have alliance for bakeries, we have alliance for teachers, we have alliance for doctor. So we have different association which works together. In UK, we have all the hoteliers, who are all big hoteliers, multimillionaires, who are part of the association. What they do, they support each other. They don't need money. It's not about money. It's about supporting each other, trying to think bigger. They go to government. If they feel there's some policies not in favor of that hoteliers, they represent as an alliance to the government. And they see that how their issues are resolved, how government can help them. Hyderabad, we have one association called a Bakery Alliance. We have about 300 plus bakers who are part of that alliance working together. They negotiate, they deal with all the brands under one name. That's called United Bakers Cooperative Limited, where they have their own centralized manufacturing unit from where they supply all the products to all the bakeries from a centralized place, where they have a good quality, standard quality. They save a lot of manpower, space, a lot of economical savings. They negotiate with all the big brands under one name, by which they get a better deals. I would say not even a biggest brand of Hyderabad can, a big hotelier can get the deal, this alliance can get a deal because they speak in one voice. So I think this is a good platform to see. That's a good thought, Sandeep. I would say the person we can think over how we can take it to a next level, which will ultimately make a lot of difference. Great thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to wrap this very, very interesting conversation, we have talked about collaboration, the need to get into the CEO's mind, the need to be very explicit to the government that some of the policies have not worked at all, and therefore, but what should they do then? And, you know, to find formats in office spaces which will work and in residences which will take advantage. I mean, look at the lakes here, look at the biodiversity here, look at everything is unmatched. You think of it, there are so many number ones here in terms of features of the geographical features of this place. So he's so right. We've never made that attempt to, you know, put it all together in one magical, because that seems to be that's what seems to be capturing the minds of people who are taking the bigger calls. Yeah. And Aju shared very interesting formats of new offices which will work for this geography. Because it need not be a replication of high-tech city and, you know, and he spoke so well about, you know, why are we not looking at industrial offices also as offices, and then why isn't this area looked upon as a numero uno in that space? You know, that it's really, it keeps coming back to how are we looking at it, how are we talking about it, how are we addressing the gaps, how are we collaborating, connecting, and, you know, talking to the governments, talking to the CEOs, and you know, once it hits that critical mass, which you said in 4-5 years for the bigger firms, IT firms, but whatever, once it moves that shift, like, I mean, Tapas, when we look at you, you are enormously successful in having moved, because I've had this conversation with Tapas 10 years ago also. And we would have conversations about, say, I'm doing such great work and look at the struggle, and I remember all that very well. And Aslam, you also shared yesterday you know, how this whole time span has changed things, and with Aju have been talking forever on this space. So I think we are all coming to a similar kind of set of points, and you really are the stars of the place. And if you can put together that kind of puzzle thought, it would probably be the most authentic, rather than a government figuring it out, because clearly what they have done is not working fully. It's not working fully. And, you know, then you have the consultants of the world to push the plan. Am I right? Mr. Mudit?
Yeah, so I think definitely a collaborative approach from everyone would definitely kind of work well in the favor of the entire geography and the industry. So, yeah.
Yes. Any last words?
Yeah, I think all covered. Only 2 points to summarize. Collaboration, thanks, Virani spoke about this, and second, effective marketing. I think if these two things are taken care of, I think it will go a long way.
I think the time has come that, you know, Kompally has probably been treated like a feeder market. It's been feeding into things,
absolutely,
into the main city. Time to make this a full economy.
You
know, it's got everything going for it. A few elements of the puzzle have to be put in place, and it will be an independent location catering to everything, from office space to retail to residential. Everything is in place. So I think now is the time to just push forward. A few more developers have to come this side, and things will kind of fall into place.
Absolutely.
That's
it. I would like to definitely agree and also add on one more point that the way I look at it, it's just the beginning of, as initially Sandeep had said that, you know, every area has a cycle. I am looking at it as just the beginning of the
big cycle.
upward trend which we
Yes.
are going to be seeing because of the various infrastructural developments which are going around. And I am pretty sure that Pan Hyderabad developers are definitely going to look at this particular market in the days to come to anchor their projects here. I'm quite hopeful on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the point that he made about people coming from high-tech city Aurora to experience the fantastic F&B, outlets here, the quality of life, just the cosmopolitan culture, and letting the kids study here because this is definitely a very good education hub also. So all those aspects add on, to the magic of this space. Any last words and then we'll wrap.
Oh, I would say North of Hyderabad has a diversity. Diversity in all the sense. So I think that's the strength we have in North of Hyderabad. And I think a takeaway personally for me, the way I see is more about collaboration and seeing how we can create more awareness and how we can promote North Hyderabad, which can help all the different stakeholders, would be the takeaway from this session.
Thank you. Before I began, I did say this would be a phenomenal panel, and it has been. Thank you for every single new thought and insight, because I know it comes from your real life experience and understanding of the space. So thank you all, and I'm sure everybody who's been listening enjoyed it as much, and our readers in Times of India will really have a lot of takeaways. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Miss Deepa Gala, ladies and gentlemen, Senior Features Editor, Times of India. Thank you so much for moderating this.
If you come a little bit forward, we can take a picture together.
A group photo opportunity.
Maybe I should just take this for 1 second.
Yes, thank you so much, our esteemed panelists, once again, for joining us and sharing your valuable inputs with us here today. Thank you for the great insights. And looking forward, to more collaboration like we discussed in the panel discussion. And my dear friends, on behalf of the Times of India, would like to thank each and every one of you for participating and also joining us for the panel discussion. Please feel free to connect with our panelists here, and then again, also please do join us for lunch. Thank you. Yes, also request our esteemed panelists to please collect the token of appreciation from the Times of India. Please do not forget to collect your gifts, mementos.
వస్తుంది సార్ చూడమన్నా. మీరు సార్ మేడం వెయిటింగ్ చేసేది ఓకే.
అక్కడ ఉండట్లేదా బోయినపల్లిలో?
అక్కడ ఉంది పార్టీ మీటింగ్స్. చెప్పు జోయల్కు అంటే ఇవన్నీ చెప్పడాలు ఆయన రావడాలు ఆయన ఆఫ్ చేసుకుంటాడు అంతా ఇదే గిట్లా ఉంటుంది. ఈలోపు ఏదైనా వేసుకుంటాడు, అక్కడ ఏదైనా వేసుకుంటాడు, ఆడ ఏదైనా వేసుకుంటాడు. ఆయన వచ్చినప్పుడు ఒక ఫోన్ వాట్సాప్ లిఫ్ట్ చేయడు, ఫోన్ రింగ్ అవ్వదు. వాట్సాప్లో మల్లారెడ్డి రాగానే స్టార్ట్ చేసుకో అని మెసేజ్ రెడీలో పెట్టుకోవడం.
Before 9:30, everything was set.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our honorable chief guest, Shri Malla Reddy Garu, Minister of Labour and Employment Factories, Government of Telangana. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing this wonderful occasion. I request you, sir, to do the honors. For the ribbon cutting ceremony, I request our entire guests, thank you, and also we have with us the Aparna Constructions, powered by Om Shri Builders and Hybiz Developers. The Times of India team, Aparna Construction, Om Shri Builders, Hybiz.
కొంచెం మెల్లే తీసుకోండి ఉన్నది ఒక నలుగురికి ఫోటోగ్రాఫ్లకు వెళ్తే ఆగమాట బ్యాక్ బ్యాక్ Please wait, please wait. Try adult toda. Rawale sir. So please madam. Aajao madam. Is it correct sir? City plant. 4 acres. Any problem?
ఇది నా జోలే
మొత్తం పర్మిషన్ తోటి లేక పక్కకు లేకు ప్లేస్ అంతా నాది కమర్షియల్ కావాలంటే
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, There's beautiful Expo, Times Kompally Expo, right here in Kompally, and it's time. Great opportunities, all investments right in the north region of Hyderabad.
70 है ऑलरेडी परमिशन होगा वर्क स्टार्ट हो गया 17 फिर हमने थोड़ा जमीन देते बना देते कोई रोड पे पूरा मेरे खाली है सर मालूम है ना यूनिवर्सिटी
इधर
మా రోడ్లో పెట్టావా నువ్వు టైం మీరు ఎప్పుడు బజారా జుబ్రీలు పెడతారు మా దగ్గర ఎంత బాగుంది రూపిక్
Krishna, idu. 1 second, please.
Exhibiting wonderful properties, opportunities here in North Hyderabad.
Join. Sir, here please. Sir, return, sir.
Yes, it's on the floor, the wide area of real estate properties available here in Kompally. Yes, we have with us Shri He's been so kind.
Here please, sir.
Each and every zone here at the Property Expo by the Times of India in association with the Department of Constructions, powered by OG Builders and Hybiz Developers.
ఎన్ని ఎకరాల్లో చేస్తున్నాం 3 ఎకరాల్లో ఎన్ని ఫ్లోర్లు 17 ఫ్లోర్స్ ఏదైనా 17 15 తక్కువ ఉండదు కొంపల్లో యూనివర్సిటీ స్కూల్ పక్కనే ఆల్రెడీ స్టార్ట్ అయింది కదా వర్క్ స్టార్ట్ మీరేంటి దగ్గర మీరేంటి దగ్గర వేసుకోగలరు మొన్ననే రేడైంది కదా మీకు పైసలు ఎక్కువైతేనే రేడైంది వాళ్ళ అబ్బాయా వాళ్ళ ఇదంతా మీరెక్కడ చేస్తారు
కొద్దిగా తీసుకో కొద్దిగా ఫోటో వస్తాయి
అదా మా సంతోషే కదా మా ఫ్రెండే మా కోపేరు ఉంటాడు మా తమ్ముడు
Thank you so much. Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment, Factories, Government of Telangana, visiting each and every soldier and yes, finance,
వెళ్ళిపోండి మీరు కూడా వెళ్ళిపోండి
North Hyderabad.
జాయిన్
This is brought to you by Aparna Construction, followed by Oak Street Builders and Hybiz Developers.
సరే చూడాలి సార్
ప్రదీప్ మా క్లోజ్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఆయన బిల్డర్
Very kind of our Honorable Minister. It's owned by each and every volunteer at the Property Expo.
మంచి ల్యాండ్స్ ఉన్నాయి permission, with permission, 10 crores. లేదు మైసంపురనా నేను ఇప్పించింది కదా అది
అన్ని ప్రాపర్టీ అన్ని సారీ ప్రాపర్టీ
మా సైడే ఆ కాలేజ్ పక్కనే
Yes, Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, Shri Mallareddy Garu is exploring each and every zone here at the Expo here in Kompally. And ladies and gentlemen, there are so many incredible opportunities of investment in the North Hyderabad region and exploring each and every zone. We have so many developers under one roof.
బాబు చూడు మొత్తం అన్ని కొంపలి ప్రాపర్టీ
రాయల్ పార్క్ ఎక్కడ వెరీ గుడ్
అన్న
రా మళ్ళీ బయటికి రా బయటికి వచ్చి
బయటకా అమ్మ నేను తీసలే బాబు
We also request
ఏమో ప్రతిసారి ఇంకా అవుతున్నావు కృష్ణ చిన్నపిల్లలుగా చేస్తున్నాను నేను బాబు అర్థం కాదు
అన్న వాళ్ళ బిడ్డ పెళ్ళి మన పుట్టి పెరిగిందంతా
Yes, I request the Times of India team to please be ready for final, yes, group photo opportunity with the Honorable Minister. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank our Honorable Minister, Shri Mallareddy Garu, for doing the honors and inaugurating this wonderful expo. Thank you so much.
ఒక్క సెకండ్ పక్కదరా ఓకే
ఇంకా స్టెప్స్ ఉన్నాయి కృష్ణ చూసుకో
కృష్ణ
రావాలా
ఇక్కడ 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 ఇటు బాగా రాస్తారు
మీరు ఎవరు రావద్దా అపర్ణ రమన్ నీ పేరు ఇరానీ ఇద్దరు గల్లీ మే వస్తుండ అపర్ణ మీరేనా ఏం పేరు వెంకట్రవి
We would also like to thank Shri Malalareddy Garu for taking the time out from his busy schedules, came down and marked this gathering with his presence. Thank you, sir.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ఈరోజు మా కొంపల్లిలో పెద్ద ఎత్తున టైమ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా వాళ్ళు పెద్ద ఎత్తున ప్రాపర్టీ షో పెట్టిండ్రు ఇక్కడ. దానికి మెయిన్ స్పాన్సర్స్ మన అపర్ణ కానీ మన ఓబీసీ బిల్డర్స్ కానీ ఎంజిఎం కానీ వీళ్ళందరూ కూడా పెద్ద పెద్ద బిల్డర్స్ ఇక్కడ వాళ్ళ స్టాల్స్ పెట్టుకొని అందరికి కూడా ఎవరైతే ప్లాట్లు కావాలన్నో, ఎవరైతే అపార్ట్మెంట్స్ కావాలన్నో, ఎవరైతే ఓపెన్ అప్ ప్లాట్స్ కావాలన్నా వీళ్ళకు మంచిగా అన్ని పర్మిషన్లతోటి, రేరా పర్మిషన్లతోటి, హెచ్ఎండిఏ పర్మిషన్లతోటి, జిహెచ్ఎంసి పర్మిషన్లతోటి, ఒక క్వాలిటీ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ తోటి అన్ని రకాల కూడా ఈ కొంపల్లిలో వాళ్ళు అందిస్తున్నారు. మంచి బిల్డర్సు ఒక్కొక్క ఫ్లోర్స్ కూడా అపర్ణ కానీ ఓంశ్రీ బిల్డర్స్ కానీ 15 ఫ్లోర్స్, 17 ఫ్లోర్స్, 18 ఫ్లోర్స్. కొంపల్లిలో ఈరోజు బంజారా ఇళ్ళనన్నా కొద్దిగా స్లమ్ ఉంటుంది కానీ కొంపల్లి ఏరియాలో ఎక్కడ కూడా స్లమ్ లేదు. మంచి వాతావరణము, నేషనల్ హైవే రోడ్డు, మంచి కాలనీలు, పిల్లలకు కూడా మంచి ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్కూల్స్, మళ్ళీ అదే మాదిరిగా మంచి మల్లారెడ్డి యూనివర్సిటీ, ఇవన్నీ కూడా పర్ఫెక్ట్గా అందరికీ కూడా పేరెంట్స్కు, స్టూడెంట్స్కు అందరికీ కూడా అందుబాటులో ఉన్నది. ఈ రోడ్డు చాలా మంచి రోడ్డు. ఈరోజు మనం హైదరాబాద్ చూస్తున్నాం. హైదరాబాద్ అంటే గ్రేట్ సిటీ, నంబర్ 1 సిటీ. ఎందుకంటే ఒకప్పుడు హైదరాబాద్ వేరు, 10 ఏళ్ళ ముందు హైదరాబాద్ వేరు, ఇప్పుడు 10 ఏళ్ళ తర్వాత కూడా హైదరాబాద్ వేరు. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం కేసీఆర్ గారు, కేటీఆర్ గారు తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం తెచ్చినాక గత 9 సంవత్సరాల సంది కూడా హైదరాబాద్ అంటేనే ఒక మారిపోయింది హైదరాబాద్ వాతావరణం. ఇప్పుడు మనం కేటీఆర్ గారిని చూస్తున్నాం. గత ఐటీ మినిస్టర్ ఉన్నప్పటి సంది కూడా మనము కొన్ని వేల కంపెనీలు, పెద్ద పెద్ద మల్టీనేషనల్ కంపెనీలు, ఒకనాడు ఐటీ కంపెనీలు అంటే బెంగళూరు ఉండే, కానీ ఇప్పుడు మొత్తం హైదరాబాద్కు షిఫ్ట్ అయిపోయింది. ఎందుకంటే హైదరాబాద్లో పోలీస్ వ్యవస్థ కానీ, మంచి వాతావరణం కానీ, మంచి పర్మిషన్లు కానీ, టీఎస్బీ పాస్లో మంచి ఇమ్మీడియట్గా పర్మిషన్లు కానీ, గవర్నమెంట్ అన్ని రకాలు కూడా వాళ్ళకు సహకారాలు అందిస్తుంది. కాబట్టి పర్మిషన్లు కానీ, బిల్డింగ్ పర్మిషన్లు కానీ, పెద్ద మల్టీనేషనల్ కంపెనీలకు కానీ అనుకూలమైన వాతావరణం కల్పించింది. కాబట్టి వాళ్లకు అమెరికా తర్వాత ఇప్పుడు అమెజాన్, గూగుల్, ఫేస్బుక్, యాపిల్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా హైదరాబాద్కు హెడ్ క్వార్టర్స్, వాళ్ళ హెడ్ ఆఫీసులన్నీ కూడా ఇక్కడ షిఫ్ట్ చేసుకున్నారు, వాళ్ళు ఇక్కడ నిర్మించుకున్నారు. మొన్ననే 15 రోజులు అమెరికా పోతే మా కేటీఆర్ గారు ఐటీ మినిస్టరు 36,000 కోట్ల పెట్టుబడి తీసుకొని వచ్చిండు. 42,000 మందికి ఉద్యోగాలు కూడా ఉపాధి కోసం తీసుకొని వచ్చిండు. ఎందుకంటే ఎక్కడ పోయినా, ఒకప్పుడు బాంబే చూసినాం, ఫైనాన్షియల్ సిటీ, బాంబే, బెంగళూరు కూడా చూసినాం, కల్కట్టా కూడా చూసినాం. కానీ ఇవన్నీ ఇప్పుడు పాతగా అయిపోయినాయి. హైదరాబాద్ ముందు అమెరికా తర్వాత బిల్డింగ్స్, అమెరికాలో కూడా బిల్డింగ్లు కొన్ని చూసేందుకు పాతగా అయిపోయినాయి. కానీ మన హైదరాబాద్లో మాత్రం రోజు కొత్త బిల్డింగ్స్, రోజు పెద్ద పెద్ద బిల్డింగ్స్, రోజు 17 ఫ్లోర్స్, 30 ఫ్లోర్స్, 40 ఫ్లోర్స్, 80 ఫ్లోర్స్. ఎందుకంటే పబ్లిక్ చాయిస్ హైదరాబాద్. ఎందుకంటే కేటీఆర్ ఉన్నారు, అక్కడ మల్లారెడ్డి మంచి మంత్రి ఉన్నాడు, కాబట్టి వాతావరణం చాలా బాగుంది. కాబట్టి ఇప్పుడు కొంపల్లి ఒకనాడు మా గ్రామ పంచాయతీ, ఈసారి మున్సిపాలిటీ అయింది. కానీ ఎంత బాగా రెసిడెన్షియల్ కాంప్లెక్స్లు వచ్చినాయంటే, గ్రేటర్ కమిటీలు కానీ, అపార్ట్మెంట్స్ కానీ, ఇవన్నీ కూడా పెద్ద పెద్ద అపార్ట్మెంట్స్. ఎందుకంటే అందరు కూడా నేషనల్ హైవే పక్కకున్నది, రింగ్ రోడ్ పక్కకున్నది, పెద్ద ఐటీ పార్క్ కూడా వస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడైనా బిజినెస్, రియల్ ఎస్టేట్ డౌన్ అవుతుంది, కానీ కొంపల్లి రోడ్ల హైదరాబాద్లో డౌన్ అవుతలేదు. అందరు కూడా కస్టమర్స్ ఇక్కడ చాలామంది ఉన్నారు, ఐటీ పీపుల్ కూడా చాలామంది ఉన్నారు, మంచిగా సక్సెస్ఫుల్గా ఉన్నారు, మంచి బిల్డర్స్ ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళు కూడా ఓంశ్రీ కానీ, అపర్ణ కానీ, వీళ్ళు ఎంజిఎం కానీ క్వాలిటీ. యాడైతే క్వాలిటీ ఉంటుందో అది గ్యారంటీగా సక్సెస్ అవుతుంది.
కాబట్టి మనకు పెద్ద అమెరికా తర్వాత కమాండ్ కంట్రోల్ ఆఫీస్ కూడా పోలీస్ వ్యవస్థ మన హైదరాబాద్లోనే ఉంది. కాబట్టి మన హైదరాబాద్కు ఫ్యూచర్ ప్రపంచంలో ఏదన్నా ప్రపంచ పటంలో కనిపించాలంటే నంబర్ 1 సిటీ ఏదన్నా ఉన్నదంటే అది హైదరాబాద్ సిటీ. అందరికి కూడా జై తెలంగాణ, జై కొంపల్లి, జై టెన్షన్. థ్యాంక్స్ ఆఫ్ అందరూ రండి, చాలా స్మార్ట్ ఉన్నారు మీరంతా.
That we can cherish every single moment we are spending outside. For Sri Mallaradi.
మెడికల్లో నేనే నెంబర్ 1, ఇంజనీరింగ్లో నేనే నెంబర్ 1, రాజకీయంలో నేనే నెంబర్ 1. మంచిగా రాయి, ఎడ్యుకేషన్ చూసి రాయి, ఉంటేనే రాయి.